beginnings of social media at BurgerFuel came a lot from customer demand, but also lack of budget. We sort of hit the GFC, and then all of a sudden we had to look for some smarter ways to work with our marketing budget. So that's where it was born out of just really working with what we've got and doing what we can. So a little bit about me. I've worked at BurgerFuel for about 5 years now. I started there when we launched on the IPO. That was 2007 when we joined the stock exchange. And I think the world proceeded to melt after that. We don't feel that it was our fault, because I think Xero did all right out of it. So we did that. I've been there for 5 years. Before that, I did some marketing and financial services and worked at Red Bull and sold some energy drinks. The main channels that we use are Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram is something we're starting on, and Foursquare. So those are the ones. So I'm going to run through this. This is a nice little slide that I've actually stolen from someone else and repurposed it. One of the things that we felt is really, really important with social media is you really need to know what you're doing in terms of what's contextual to your market. So you've got all these different things. You can't do all of them. There are literally thousands of different social media channels. So we like to look at what does each social media channel mean to us. So Instagram, here's a vintage photo of my burger. YouTube, here I am eating a burger. LinkedIn, my skills include eating burgers, and so forth. So there was an old adage that content is king. When social media came out about 3 years ago, it was always content is king, content is king. I think it's wrong. I think now we're shifting more to context is king. It's really about being at where your customers are at the right moment with the right message. It's not just about having this beautiful content. Although, shit content still means shit campaigns, so you need to have good content. You still need to craft your messages. There is the slight habit of now in the days of Twitters and 140 character messages that people just blurt out whatever. I think people still need to communicate very carefully and succinctly, but also reflect the personality of the brand. So you're trying to do a lot with each little message that you're sending out. As I said, look, these are all the different social media channels out there. There's no way I'm going to do all of them. My department isn't big enough. I'm not big enough, and I also like to sleep and have family and do things. So we've always, for those who can't read at the back, and probably the people at the front can't read it either, but we've always said, fish where your fish are. So as you look at each social media channel, and as we look at where are our customers? Where is our market? Or where are people who aren't our customers, but we want them to be our customers? We're also looking at things like opinion leaders, people who will actually grow the BurgerFuel culture just by way of interacting with the brand, either online or in person, or hopefully both. Now, I'm going to go through a couple of examples of things we do. We've launched this radio station. So online, we've actually broadcasting a radio station. It's called Radio BurgerFuel, obviously. It's on radioburgerfuel.com. You can pick it up off iTunes, any of the radio apps. This is part of the in-store experience that we wanted to do, but we also want to broadcast this music outside of the stores so people can listen at home. So as far as an integrated marketing campaign, this isn't just about having music. It's also about linking it to our actually core business. So what we've done is we've established this concept called Friday Night Bites. And Friday Night Bites, we've kind of termed as, it's the party before the party. So just before you go out, come to BurgerFuel between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. We'll have DJs broadcasting into the stores, and that's going to get you ready for your night ahead. I think one of the lines is, BurgerFuel is where trouble begins. So that's a concept that we're running. In Dubai, we're going to look at changing. Radio BurgerFuel isn't there yet, but they have a much later night strategy. So over there, we call it I am the after party. Twitter. So we've created this concept called Tweets and Treats, and the purpose of this has been all about getting people to share their BurgerFuel experience, because we have outlets all around the world, but you might have one friend eating in Albany and another friend eating in Dubai, but how do we make sure that they actually get that recognition and that peer recommendation coming through? So we are encouraging all of our customers to actually tweet about their BurgerFuel experiences or share them. We actually run these spots in store on a screen, not live. We pick the best ones that we like, and if someone sees their tweet, they get a treat. We'll be extending this later on, but what we've found is that it's actually, originally we just thought it was about someone seeing themselves and thinking they're famous, and that's been a lot of the messages we've got. But what we've started to see is people tweeting their friends about seeing them in the store. So it's a way that even though we've got all these outlets around the place, everyone can eat at BurgerFuel at the same time, in theory. So it's the shared experience and community. This is a recent example of a tweet that we sent out in Riyadh. This is in Saudi Arabia. We opened the store on Monday. Our first tweet was, "Hello Riyadh," lots of O's, lots of L's. "Finally, we have a store opening for you today. Yow." The girls can do it better than I can. But this is a place we've never been in Riyadh. Our other stores in Saudi Arabia are on the other side of the country. Not the other side of the country, but they're in the eastern province. So our first store, no presence whatsoever, except for building a store. We've got 650 retweets. It's not quite Justin Bieber level, but as a point of reference, Air New Zealand, who we all know are sort of social media darlings, they've got about 90,000 followers. We only have about 7,000. I think when they launched their whole Hobbit plane, I think they got about 50 retweets for that, a picture of the Hobbit plane. So, I mean, we just sent a tweet and built a store. You know, they skinned a whole plane and tied in with the Middle Earth. I mean, it was a great thing to do, but this is one of those things where sometimes, as an example, is sometimes the things that in New Zealand, Twitter might not be as big in Auckland as Facebook is, but overseas, some of these channels are huge. I mean, that's the first tweet we ever talked about Riyadh. 650 retweets. I think the most we've had in New Zealand is probably about 50. So it's really big. So quite often we find that some of these channels, you need to be led by what's going on in the market out there. Instagram, this is next. I love Instagram. I think we've put up 30 photos. It's just been something we've been doing on the side and just experimenting and watching and learning. I think it's important that there's nothing wrong with watching and learning with these channels. I think we've put up 30 photos and we have 600 followers. I think to do that on Twitter, it took me forever. I nearly cried. I nearly gave up on Twitter. But the thing I like about Instagram is that it makes every photo look good. And with burgers and food, it's really important that our product looks amazing. And usually the products that are just shot sort of in situ, you know, you got bites out of them, you've got, you know, people that are half-eaten, but even the half-eaten burgers look great. So, love that. But one thing I've noticed about Instagram is it's really young. Here's an example. This is a picture of lemons that we put up. Just some lemons that one of the girls drew some sad faces on in the office. And I just put out, look, the sad lemons at BurgerFuel's secret mountaintop HQ that didn't make the cut for lemon aioli. They got 40 likes, 40 hearts, 40 favorites, 2 comments. So I just kind of thought, well, okay, we need to start looking at Instagram now. I think that's next step. So I think don't be afraid to experiment with new channels. I think that's one of the best pieces of advice I can give. There are lots of things out there. Think about what's relevant to your market. And just because you don't use it or your friends don't use it doesn't mean there are a lot of people out there who don't use it. Foursquare, so we've played around with that. That was led by Saudi Arabia and Dubai. We found that we had lots and lots of people checking into stores that we hadn't set up the accounts for in Foursquare. And we actually transported that back to New Zealand. So we actually launched it, started it there first because they were using it and brought it back. New Zealand, it's not as big here, but we still feel it plays a part in recognizing loyalty for us. We did a big campaign with L&P. So I think we launched New Zealand's first ever nationwide Foursquare campaign, and we gave a free bottle of L&P with every check-in. So that was a way of people sharing their experience. So, you know, jury's out on Foursquare, but we feel it's part of the mix for us, you know. So a couple of little slides just to round up. Things to remember. Social media isn't new marketing. It's new media, okay? A lot of people are really, really worried about social media. Anyone who hasn't done it before, some of you guys have probably spent a lot of time in it. It's just another channel. It can be used. So leading on from that, the fundamentals of business and marketing still apply to social media. Integrate it into your strategy. It's not just something that sits out on the side. It's something that needs to be part of your business and the way you do things. As you approach social media, well, one of the lines is, question is, are you interested in changing your business, or do you expect to do the same thing and get different results? Ask yourself that, because if you're not going to be willing to go into the social media space, get some feedback of your customers telling you that you should be doing something different, you're not going to change your business. There's no point in being there, because this is the best way that your customers will actually come out to you in a really open and honest way. And the other one is, are you interested in listening to your customers, or do you just want to pretend that nothing is happening? A lot of people always ask me, oh, but what about these people who come on your page and they tell you that this is bad or that are bad? Just because they're not telling me doesn't mean it doesn't happen. So it's really important. Don't be afraid of bad comments, because bad comments, that's free feedback. That's the survey you don't need to spend money on to go out to all your customers. They'll tell you for free on Facebook and Twitter and everywhere else. They'll actually tell you what's wrong with your product, what's wrong with your service, or what can be improved. They'll also tell you what they love about your product, so things or elements that you need to amplify in your general marketing comms. And that's me. Done.